In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, Alegria Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal live stream show and podcast. How are you doing? I haven't heard from a podcast listener for quite a while. How are you guys doing? You won't be able to see this on the podcast, but I'm wearing my sporty gear this morning. It is Feelgood Friday, and we're having a bit of fitness, gentle fitness, of course, for bon viveurs. We don't like to overdo it, but fitness of a holistic nature, gentle, holistic, fun, and feel good so that we can stay in good shape. And actually quite the opposite. We were going to be joined by Phil this morning, Phil Cooklin of Cooklin, and of course Coach Turner after 9 o'clock to talk about physical fitness and keeping in good shape and feeling well, staying well, and growing old disgracefully, of course. Phil not feeling too well. I'm sure he'll be watching and tuned in, and we'll cheer him up. But it's interesting, isn't it, how we treat ourselves when we're not feeling well. And I've had a much more mature and grown-up attitude to not feeling very well in recent years. And if I feel like I need to lie down, if I'm taken down by something, literally, I just go with it these days. And I hope that's what Phil's doing. I hope that's what Mrs. M continues to do today, because she's not feeling too well either. And anyone in our community who's not feeling especially well, please don't feel as though, because we're talking about fitness and fun and jogging and stretching your legs on chairs and stuff, as the coach has already sent in a tip this morning. We'll take that live this morning, Coach Turner. You can make your entry with that. And who doesn't like to make their entry with a leg stretch first thing in the morning? Yeah. Don't feel that it's all about putting a tracky top on a hoodie like I've done this morning, just to look better, if not, or to look more fit. Even if not actually taking any action. If you're not feeling well, you're not feeling well, and go with it. Treat your body to some rest, because I think even people who've retired or expats who are taking it easy, life can get really busy, and we live in crazy times. So I think it's really good to rest mind, body, and just breathe. We talk a lot about these sorts of things here. I pride our community on the depth and breadth of what we're happy to talk about. And no exception to that is how we approach physical fitness, mental fitness, and spiritual fitness, if there is such a thing. So let me know how if you're not feeling well, what's your favorite thing to do? Are you dosing yourself up on echinacea, vitamin C, vitamin D, having a lie down, drinking a bottle of wine? Probably not the best thing to do, that last one, but let me know. Yeah, have you got better at looking after yourself as you've got older? And for those of you who are feeling on top of the world this morning, what's your secret? And what would you like to know from the Coach Turner and from Lady Kimberly, who will be stepping in for Phil this morning? Fantastic to be talking to Lady K, who I met for the first time on Monday of only this week, who, of course, has a home in Monsanto with Phil. So we can talk about Monsanto, Central Portugal, with Lady K as well. Okay, T-Duck is in. How you doing, T-Duck? Hope you're looking forward to the weekend. A bon fin de semana. Feliz sexta for you. Sexta-feira, the only day with sex in it here in Portugal. Bon dia, alegria, gumpers from T-Duck. And kicking off with some Portuguese sayings. Here we go. Here is some linguistic fitness. Ready? Hooah! Muitos anos a vira frangos. Oh, this is a good one. We've heard this one before, haven't we? But that's no reason to not say it again. In fact, I've got a jingle for this, I think. That's a jingle that's been waiting to be used for a very long time. We used to do something called the Barcelo Awards. And in honor of the Barcelos cockerel, who joins me every morning, quietly just standing to my side, guarding me, my bodyguard. Not many people have a Barcelos cockerel as a bodyguard. And we had the Barcelos awards, and that's what we would play. And that seems thoroughly appropriate. So if we can maybe come up with a use for that jingle, we'll use it a bit more. Some of this. Oh, hold on. Like it? Yeah, I think that's really good. Morning, Paul, Francis, Nuno, Suze. See some of you later on. Sarah, Brian, Gary, Baddy's in as well. Fantastic. So many years turning chickens, an expert who spent many years at something. So are you an experienced chicken turner? We've got an Ian Turner. Are there any chicken turners in the house? Thunder Duck, continuing with the Portuguese sayings. Pau, pau, queijo, queijo. Another great phrase. Love pau, pau, queijo, queijo. That was explained to me early on in my life here in Portugal. It is what it is. A straightforward person. That person, that woman, she's very pau pau, queijo, queijo. She'll tell you exactly what's on her mind. Very good. Loving these this morning, T-Duck. Fara pelos cotovelos. To speak by the elbows. We all know someone who does this, don't we? Who talks too much. Are you speaking by the elbows again? Take a breath, for goodness sake. Wow. Okay. Very good this morning. Loving those. And I think, yes, if nothing else, we will herald your Portuguese sayings with the Barcelos cockerel. Thank you for giving me a chance to dust down that jingle and to play it. Bom dia, Carl. Can almost feel the Portuguese heat. Can't wait to fly out on Monday morning. Now, I'm hoping that the weather warning of good and hot weather this weekend will pass safely for everybody. That weather warning that I think it was yesterday when I shared that with you. And that they will continue to be warm, and you will get that feeling. Isn't it lovely when you arrive somewhere warmer than your native country and the plane door opens, or you arrive, or you wake up in the morning, you feel that heat, that unaccustomed heat on your face. So looking forward to that, Deagle. Fantastic. And Bon dia Thunder Duck, says Deagle. Only two of us here. That was earlier on this morning, before 8 o'clock. You rascals hanging out in the waiting room of the Good Morning Portugal show in the foyer. Grab yourselves a coffee, won't you? Help yourselves to the complimentary green room gifts if you arrive. Well, they're virtual as well as complimentary. A Belfast saying, some people walk in the rain and others get wet. It's good, isn't it? Roughly, some people will moan about anything. I wouldn't have had that take on it, but that makes complete and utter sense. I thought it was more to do with people's personal fortune, but some people walk in the rain and others get wet. Yes, it's a kind of glass half full, half empty kind of thing, isn't it? And it depends what's in it, of course, whether a glass is half full or half empty. We'll come back to you, Coach Turner, and your very own input for the day. And who doesn't like a bit of coachy input first thing in the morning? At around 9 o'clock, and Kimberly, Lady K, joining us a little bit after. Get those questions in. I want to make sure you're taking care of yourselves, because I think with the fitness thing, of all levels, holistic, mind, body, and spirit, it's an easy thing to put to one side, isn't it? And I want to see people taking some action here. It's all very well to have the insight. Me and Mrs. M were talking about this week. It's all very well having insight, but it's really important to take action as well, isn't it? And let's do that. Let's commit to doing something that is an investment in our health. And you choose at what level. Are you going to go the whole hog? And as we say here in Portugal, I just made that up. It's not like me at all, is it, to make things up? Are you going to go the whole hog and the whole holistic hog, even the squeak? And are you going to do something and invest in your mind and your body and your spirit from here on in, as we encourage you to do? 50 Plus Vitality is the group on Facebook as well, if you want to join that for extra encouragement. James is in as well this morning. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz sexta a todos. Very good, James. And the Mark Twain. I've got to keep up with these abbreviations and acronyms here, haven't I? Well, I'm not a Will Rogers this morning. Mark Twain, how did he talk? Did he talk like W.C. Fields? Or how would he have spoken, Mark Twain? Even if you give me a region in America, that won't really help me. It's not as if we've got some YouTube videos, is it? Whenever I get the urge to write, I lie down and it usually passes. Excellent. Now, that is a good tactic, isn't it, in life as well? Knowing which battles to fight when you get to a certain age, that's also very good. Not going sort of hell-bent, hell for leather on just doing everything for the sake of it. Yeah, some things will pass, won't they? Now, who was it whose father had three 3 filing trays, 3 in trays, things that need doing, things that, what was that? Things that don't need doing, and things that will, no, it can't be, can it? There was an in tray, a standard in tray. And then there was the final tray, which I thought was a fantastic idea, was the tray that will probably blow over, stuff in there stuff in there that sorts itself out in life. And I think we get better at that, don't we? But physical fitness isn't one of them. I suspect fitness, taking action to make yourself feel better and invest in your health, I don't think is one of the things that's going to blow over and take care of itself. Bon dia, buddy. Hope your week has gone great and that your weekend will be awesome. Isn't that a lovely greeting this morning? Hola, bon dia, povos. Hubs missed his IMT appointment due to being in the US. We walked in yesterday. I'm not mal. He got his temporary driver's license after an hour wait. Oh, man, it's all about the attitude. Stop it. Gary Orgles, a fantastic Friday, says Gary. Where are you, Gary? What's going on for you, mate? And Francis is here. Bon dia, alegria a todos. Bon fin de semana. Thinking of you guys in the heat. Get fit and drink lots of water. There's a good little bit of input from Francis as well. Yeah, keep your water intake up over the weekend. What's your weather like at the moment, Francis? Brian Taylor's in as well. Still thinking about, you're synonymous with the vertical rotisserie now, Brian. Every home should have one. Good morning to you and to Storm. Suze, good morning. And from Taxi. And Owen's here. Morning, Owen. Bon dia. Second day. Oh, so here's somebody who's not feeling the May West as well. There's a few of us down at the moment. Lots of love to everybody who's not feeling well, including you, Owen. Second day of bed rest. I have, and that's not him giving the love legend that is Owen Lloyd Martin. He's not giving his bed a rest. He's having bed rest himself. I have a suspected trapped nerve in my back. Oh, dear. However, one more barbecue site to visit. The show must go on. Mate, take it easy. Put your health first. We'll share photos of the shortlist with Carl. Have a fantastic weekend. Which reminds me, dare I open up WhatsApp? Yes, I do. It's done, and nothing bad has happened so far anyway. Pam sent me a fantastic link. We've talked a little bit about the Parc de Merenda phenomenon, haven't we? You've got to say every time you say phenomenon. I was sent a beautiful link from Pam, who said this is the best barbecue site I've ever been to, and it's like a commercial, private one, I think, that you can hire. I don't know if it is actually commercial, and if it's very expensive. I doubt if it is. But I'm going to bring it onto the screen for you. Oh, things going very nicely up the end of the street. I've discovered that the campsite at the end of my street, which has the huge water slide, is part of the yellow camping group. And I'm doing my best to get up there and where's that link, Pam, that you sent me? Oh, yeah, Tronca o Park. So, okay, I'll share that with you in just a moment. But yeah, the park up the street, the camping site up the street, I'm going to do my best to get up there and maybe do a live broadcast from there if they'll let me. If anyone can put in a good word for me, that'd be fantastic. To go up to the Colina do Sol campsite here in San Martino de Porto. I didn't know there were so many cabins in the world, let alone on one campsite. And that big old water slide is being created, and I think it reopens in July. Here, then, if you want to, I sent this to you, Owen, as well. But take it easy, mate, with your back. Don't do anything silly. It can wait. It can wait. We don't want to be rushing into anything and causing harm to ourselves. Oh, I think I've messed it all up now on the screen. No, I haven't. People have been complaining about the stream being a little bit glitchy, but I don't think it's only me. It might be more of a general Mercury in retrograde thing, of course, a global phenomenon with tech. But some people have had the spinning wheels with the Good Morning Portugal show. I apologize if that's happened. One day we will upgrade our tech here. And we'll have we will barely touch the sides as we fly down the internet tubes straight into your ears. So here's the thing from Pam, and it is the Troncao Park, not Troncao Park, as I was saying just now. It is lazer is leisure, of course, in Portuguese, and that does look very nice, doesn't it? Troncao Park, and it's not really telling me a lot about where it is, but you can check for yourself. I'll put the link into the chat, and then you'll be able to see for yourself. But it's getting some good ratings, as you can see there. And I'm just showing you the pictures now. Let's see if this is a slideshow here, shall we? Beautiful. Outdoor life in Portugal will be great this weekend, won't it? Very thoughtfully done. Look at this. This is fantastic. Great facilities here. I'm thinking inland a bit. It's in the interior. I don't think this is coastal, and I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't too. I think it's Leria. I think it's in the Leria district. Look, good kids facilities. You don't know how old these photos are, of course, but these look like quite authentic and excellent photos of the Troncão Park. They're good stuff. Thank you, Pam, for sending this in. I wonder if we're going to get to a bit of barbecue. Oh, look, it's a swinging bench for all you swingers. Look at that. How about that? Let's get. I want to have a look at the cooking facilities. Oh, there was a long shot of a communal barbecue. That's rather good, isn't it? Lots of seating, as you'd expect, and lots of shade, which of course is very important. The communal barbecue, the running water, and a cafe. Oh, that's good. Get yourself a decent cafe afterwards as well, should you want one, and a little bit of a treat, perhaps. Toilet block, I think I'm seeing there. The conveniences, or the bathroom, as you Americans would say, there as well. Loving this place. Thank you so much, Pam, for that. Very, very good indeed. Okay, let's move on, shall we? In Alcabasa, over that way, I think. Waiting for Viva China to open. I need a third suitcase to encapsulate my life on the run. Online said open at 8, not so. Oh, you caught them out there. Maybe suggesting the Chinese shop that they buy one of their own clocks to be a little bit more reliable with their opening time. Bon dia a todos from Sarah. Good morning to you, Sarah. How's it going in Stubble? And good morning. Finally, Friday. I think that meant to be Friday, isn't it? Finally, unless Friday is some kind of Lord of the Rings thing that Nunu celebrates as well. I wonder. Oh, no, it was meant to be Friday. There we go. Frodo Friday today. Are you waving at me to come in? Have I left you outside? No, I haven't yet. It's not even 9 o'clock yet, Coach Turner. Yeah, sorry to hear about your back, T-Duck. Suze, Continent has some not too expensive suitcases. Very good. Thank you for that tip. And very tired today after a sleepless night. Damn dog. Storm, what's up? Been hyperactive all night. Seems to think I taste nice on the keto diet and fanatically licking my head all night. That is not a recipe for a good night's sleep. And yeah, you just taste of meat, Brian. Bon dia a todos from Mark. Mark, how are you? You had a poorly back, didn't you, recently? How are you doing now? $12.99 for a huge bag, buying a second one. Well done, Suze. Fantastic. This is the stuff to go to the airport, I'm guessing. Hi, Nu. What's happening with my fingers? On the gay. Good morning. Finally, Friday. I think we got there in the end, Nu. And bon dia, Deagle McKillen. I was here early, but then I went out for a tea. Oh, let me just have a sip of my tea. If we all do this at the same time, it won't seem quite so awkward. So if everybody wants to drink their tea now and have a sip of their coffee, please do so. Did you hear that? I don't like it to go too cold. Everyone, please send their good vibes out to Phil, Owen, and Mrs. M. Nice one, Pete. Nunu, Owen, Suze, Rebel Mama, Ian Turner. Yeah, love from all of us here. Fantastic. Yeah, Ian, Thunder Duck Guru Slug. Yeah, sometimes people don't feel well, get injured, whatever it is. We are sending our love to you, whoever you are, those who are unnamed, because the lurking phenomenon. Guess what? Nobody has responded yet to my idea yesterday. And people quite like calling themselves lurkers. You know who you are, the ones who don't speak, and you're not obliged to. But some who would like to speak and don't get the chance because of listening to this on replay, send me a voice note on WhatsApp, 913-590-303. And if it's at all savory, I will play it out so that you can be part of things. And then you'll hear yourself the next day when you watch on catch up. Do it. Let me just find that number and stick it on the screen for you so that we can make sure you've got the right number and you're not sending a voice note to someone else here in Portugal, which could, after all, be a little bit weird. What's this? It's the big gardening Q&A. I think I'm going to change this live in front of your very eyes. It's not the big gardening Q&A. That's on a Monday. At 6:15, and there'll be one of those next Monday. Let me do this. So I'm going to put, what am I going to put here? Gentle fitness. You can see it's a little bit of a production insight, a bit like watching the director's DVD of the show, the director's cut. Gentle fitness for just in case, and just so that we know what we were talking about on this day. Body, mind. You can have some more of your tea. And did you have a nice breakfast again this morning? Suze over there in Alcabasa looked very good yesterday. Body, mind, and spirit. For Feel Good Friday, I'm going to put, and you can see if my typing's any good, Nunu, this morning. I'm feeling a little bit under pressure here, but it's pressure I put on myself. It's a choice, as James said on Monday. Okay, so what have we got so far? We've got gentle fitness for body, mind, and spirit for Feel Good Friday. Yay! Please pop your questions in the chat and send your. There we go. That'll do nicely, won't it? I'll scroll that across the bottom of the screen now. If you're seeing this and you want to send in a voice note to us so that we can hear you whilst you're asleep, but that's some great multitasking right there, isn't it? You can be asleep and you can have sent in a message that gets played on the show, and then you can watch and listen to yourself on catch up. Smash that like button, says Francis. 15 minutes before my alarm went off, he decided it was time for sleep and left me in peace. Hate it when that happens. If he was a Portuguese dog, I have to say, Brian, he'd be outside. He wouldn't be licking, unless he had a really long tongue. He would be outside and not licking you because you taste of beef. Let me see. There is something slowing down a little bit on the streaming here. But anyway, hola, bon dia. Really looking forward to the weekend. Come on, Paul. You can't tease us like that. Oh, is it your Silver Coast weekend? You're always gadding about somewhere. Is it Silver Coast this weekend? I'm sending out those good vibrations. Thank you very much, James, to all who aren't feeling 100% this morning. Muito bem, Beija, Rebel Mama, tudo bem? To you, nice one, chucking the Portuguese around this morning. I'm here until 9:20, then off to do some not very gentle fitness, swimming for hundreds of miles, 100 lengths in 1 hour. There you go. He's incredible, that Deagle, getting his bikini bod sorted out, ready for Portugal. He does it anyway. Nothing to do with the bikini bod, I don't suppose. Owen, I always think visualization is good against illness. Somewhere special you have been, like the amazing we knew that would end badly, didn't we? It's probably a true story, though, to be fair to Pete. We're attending the Gulbenkian Symphony tonight. Oh, fantastic. What a brilliant place that is on so many levels. Schumann's Violin Concerto and Tchaikovsky's Fifth Symphony. Well, what a fantastic evening you'll be having tonight. That sounds lovely. Gulbenkian is a superb institution in Lisbon, of course, of art and culture. Go there. Just the museum itself and gallery is absolutely brilliant. Have a great time, Mr. and Mrs. Duck, going there this evening. I saw some Vivaldi played on marimbas yesterday on Twitter. It really lifted my heart. One of my daughters is called Gloria, and she's named after Vivaldi's Gloria. Sat with her mum in Sheffield Cathedral, and the opening part of Vivaldi's Gloria is so moving. Lots of love and shout out to you, Gloria, this morning in Italy. Our second time at the Gulbenkian Symphony. The venue is stunning. The backdrop behind the stage is a wall of glass that looks through to the lush Gulbenkian Park. I bet the acoustic engineers didn't agree with you, T-Duck, when they got there to sort that out. What's this? My sly grin. Is that the one? I didn't know I had a sly grin. But yes, the Gulbenkian glass wall. Audio engineers get there. Oh no, it's going to be bad. How are we going to deal with that? Sly grin indeed. Okay, wish me luck on selling the van today, folks. I dug out all the related paperwork. Fingers crossed for a sale. Wow, let's go out and let's have a big old drink and dinner tonight. We're in the money. Good morning, Guru Slug, from the Redwoods this morning. Of course, message from the Redwoods on Monday. Tune in for Migration Monday. And message from the Redwoods from the Guru Slug. Goodness only knows what his name will be next week. Wish me luck on selling the van today. Yep. Moaz, bon dia, Carl. Y señores bonitos y señores bonitos. Very good, Moaz. And my brand new e-bike arrived yesterday, so I'm anticipating much more exercise. Very good. As soon as I get my lock and helmet, don't forget to get your helmet blessed and Nuno Mendes to get it insured. So let's do a few events. Whilst we're talking about getting your helmet blessed, we do have the poster for that somewhere deep in this pile of posters that we have here now. Extraordinary the amount of things going on in Portugal. Is that the one there? No, we could get rid of that one now. That was the 13th, 14th, and 15th of May. So let's get rid of that. What's this one? Is this a bean festival or bacalhau festival? Oh, we've got till August for that one. That's all right. But blessing of the helmets. I think I've lost the poster now. Or is this it? No, that's a Bon Dia Alegria. They're tiny on my screen. I can't. Oh, and apologies to everybody who I sent to the merch yesterday. There was a bit of a problem with the link, but we'll get that sorted out. If you want a mug or a tote bag or a t-shirt or something like that. There it is. The Benção, what would that be? Benediction of the capacettes, the helmets, the Santuario de Fatima. You have to wait till September. But I guess if you speak nicely to a priest, you might be able to get that done early. Steady. Okay, where's the prof this morning? I'm looking at some of prof's pictures. He might have had a heavy night last night. You know what he's like. And yeah, okay, so let's do some fantastic events. Oh, this is brilliant. We have our old mate Tama Katan, who has got a new show. Oh, it's the Edinburgh Fringe. I didn't realize. I thought it was one of his Portuguese shows. He's got a lot of Portuguese shows to go to, but let's give him a shout out for the Edinburgh Fringe in case any of our American friends are going to Edinburgh anytime soon. The Banshee Labyrinth, the Chamber Room, and that's August the 6th to the 28th. Is he doing every night from the 6th to the 28th? That's hard work, isn't it? But I'm sure it'll be hilariously funny. Our good mate Tama, the alien from New York. That looks like a lot of fun. It's staying in Portugal then, the Porto Beer Fest. Remember we showed you that lovely video of the Palacio de Cristal made by Chris. Take all those lovely photos and videos taken by Chelsea, I think. Actually, morning to you, all the Smiths back in the US now. But in that same venue, the Jardins do Palacio de Cristal, the Porto Beer Fest, next month from the 15th to the 19th of June. Isn't that a lovely poster? People throwing vinyl around, unless it's that scene from the that zombie movie. Don't think so. I think people will be playing retro vinyl. I think that's a hipster beard at the top with a tram coming out of it. That's a great poster. Staying with another great bit of artwork at the Rex Bar, May the 22nd, this Sunday. I imagine you've got a great choice of Silver Coast venues. You could go to both. If you've got your motorbike, you could both go to the what's the one? Oh gosh, what's it called? Let me know someone who knows the big bar in the Bikers Bar here in San Martino de Porto. I can see it in my mind's eye. Pit Stop, or Oh Pit, as people call it here. Roots, blues, and rock and roll. Dirty Roots and friends at 3 p.m. at the Rex Bar in Obidos, and maybe have a little bit of a tour and go to the Pit Stop as well. Thank you very much, Simon. And to Andy now, the Santo Andre Museum ship, May 21st, 22nd, tomorrow and Sunday, of course, at the Jardin de, I nearly went French there, didn't I? Do Audignon, Gaffagna de Nazaré. Oh, Mike and Dean might be going to that. Our lovely friends, our virtual family up there in Aveiro or Ilhavo. That looks great. A museum ship, if that's your thing. And the Santo Andre Museum will once again open its hatches inside the old 41-meter Bacalhauras trawler. There are new exhibitions. Wow, a Bacalhau trawler. And heart of the ship is now possible to visit the Casa de Maquinas. What's that? The engine room, is it? The machine house? Outside, there is a new reception that enhances the access space to Santo Andre. And who doesn't like to have their access space enhanced first thing in the morning? Okay, we go to, if you're a mod, you might like this, the Vespa Club, the Barada. Look at this. We are the mods. We are the mods. We are the mods. And my dog comes from this village, would you believe? Jimmy Choo. He's fast asleep. He'd be a mod if he was a human, I'm sure. And the Vespa Club of Bairrada having a meetup. I think that is in Aguin, certainly in the Bairrada district, but look that up if you're a mod or were one. And look at that. Life is a journey. Enjoy the ride. Another fantastic poster. And that is, when is it? Oh, the 21st. That's tomorrow for all you mods. Don't want any rockers turning up there and causing trouble. Do your own thing. And I haven't got a rocker. I haven't got a rocker event to balance that out. Although there was talk yesterday of a Guns N' Roses get together, wasn't there? That GNR, not the other one. Salbrage, the Ride y Almoso, a motorcycle festival with Banda Polk playing. That sounds like fun. And what's that? Inscription 15 pistões to include, what's that? It's 15 pistons or something to get in. Is that what bikers call money? And it also has a Mercadinho de Artesanato e Usados, so used and artisanal market, I guess, flea market and art market there. Also tomorrow, so much going on. Portuguese people out to party, festa, and have fun. Aveiro district again. Isn't this fantastic? Superb. Which brings us to 9 o'clock and time to go for a little bit of gentle fitness. Easy does it. And to go to UK now to talk to the coach. How you doing, Coach Tanner? Good morning.
Morning, Carl. Yeah, doing very well, thank you. Yeah,
excellent.
Had a beautiful meal with my daughter last night, who became 31 this week. And where did that go?
Absolutely. This is a question.
Whizzes by ever quicker.
Happy birthday to her. I hope you had a lovely evening.
We did. We had a super evening. I don't see her very often because she lives a fair bit away. So
yeah. Well,
it's a
you make a very
busy.
yeah, you make a very good comment there about the passage of time. You know, I'm sure you can remember as a little girl, and then suddenly she's 31, and you're asking where does the time go? What does that tell us? Where does that leave us? To make sure we enjoy the moment.
Carpe diem. Absolutely.
Yes.
Every single day, make the most of it. Whatever you
Yeah,
do. You know,
yeah,
I mean,
and we
it plays to what we're talking about, isn't it? All the mental fitness as well as physical fitness.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yes, and it is, you know, when
let's
you got
make the
when
most of
kids are
it.
young, life is busy and fast, isn't it? And it does whiz by, and it can be a little bit more difficult to seize the day and savor the moment. But it is such good advice. Whether or not human beings take it, we don't know, do we? And often we don't. That was my message earlier on,
None of us
Coach.
take it.
We don't, do we? Hopefully,
No,
some of it's,
none of us
and that's why we
take
keep
advice.
talking about it. Yeah. So, I mean, we could talk about that for a moment. I mean, I also opened up the idea about how to treat ourselves well when we're not feeling very well, which is quite important, isn't it? And not to push ourselves through it. I know you're an advocate of honouring the injury. You're not a no pain, no gain kind of bloke, are you? Have you got better
Definitely
at
not.
honouring your body as you've got older?
Oh.
No.
Well, yeah. I was thinking I treat my body like a temple and drink wine to it too often.
I thought you were going to say it's like one of the churches that Henry VIII ransacked, that kind of temple. But
Yeah,
no,
probably. Yeah, maybe. No, I certainly when you hurt if you're exercising, stop. It's
yeah,
I mean you'll recall that I had a bit of a hamstring problem when I came out to see you actually, and that
not connected,
I
not connected.
no, not connected at all. It happened a few days earlier when I was training, and so I felt it begin to go immediately stopped, and gradually it's got better. So I trained again this week, and I felt a very slight tightness, so I stopped again. And so from a purely training point of view, um, especially when you start to push to be faster or stronger or whatever you're doing. Um, oh, ciao, Rebel Member. How you doing? Yeah, you just need to be very sensible, especially as you get older, because it takes a lot longer to mend
Uh-huh.
progressively. So just take it easy. As to illness, it's not a good idea to particularly train hard if you're not very well, because that just drains you, and you don't have the wherewithal to fight the illness.
Yeah,
So very easy to say, well, slightly more difficult to do. I tend to just take myself to bed if I'm not good. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Good. Sorry,
I
go
was
on.
going to say, sorry, I'm not a very good patient, so I want everybody to leave me alone.
Well, that can be good for everyone, really, can't it? I mean, I think that's my approach as well. If I get a fever or anything like that, I just want to get on with it. And I'm much more patient with it now. I think the body is much more intelligent than we are, obviously, taking care of so many things. Um,
Yeah.
and all we are is a sort of impatient or careless owner of the thing. And the body is so smart, and when left to its own devices to deal with things, generally speaking, can do that. And what is this? Medicine is what you entertain the patient with, while nature takes its course. I think there's a lot of truth in that, and that being impatient or being forceful or overdoing it is injurious, literally injurious to the healing process. So let us have that. Let us be wise and um, lay back and let nature take its course with us, and of course seek medical attention if that's necessary as well. If that's
Hopefully.
absolutely necessary, do
That's always
that.
a caveat for everything, isn't it?
Absolutely right. Good vibes and best wishes to all who are under par today. So I think there's a nice respect for when we're not feeling the absolute best, and I think all of us perhaps being a little bit more compassionate to ourselves and others in this regard. Mark's feeling better as well. Thanks, Carl. Much better. I don't advise anyone tearing their. Oh, has anyone else had a torn thoracolumbar fascia muscle? What were you doing, Mark, to have that rip? I wonder. Well wishes to all those feeling under the weather from Francis from Cape Town. That's fantastic. And look, some what is it? Have you guys got special messages you send each other, you and Andy? He's giving you a nice some
No,
bicep going on there.
No, you missed one of his messages earlier. I think.
Oh, right, let's go back.
He'd been out for a long walk.
He's a man who takes his fitness seriously. Actually, we've shown his videos. He's got this great software, Ian. Which this might be quite a good incentive for people who like sharing things on social media. And he's got this incredible software where he goes on a walk and the sat nav's tracking him, so it will record his route, and then you can spin in the occasional picture or text or video once you come back and commit it to the web. It's really lovely. And then other people who might not be similarly motivated can just follow that, which is fantastic. Do you ever do that? Do you ever record your walks?
I don't. Partly because most of my training is done over about 100 meters on a track.
Just backwards and forwards.
Bit boring. Just look, straight line, go backwards and forwards. But certainly, you'll recall my son's been doing these stupid 100k runs. The next one, really mad. And so he records those on, I think it's Strava they call it, and people share their runs or walks between them, and they do that. I'm not sure about posting in pictures into them. Probably can do that too.
Yeah, so Andy does it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So how's he getting on with that, with those crazy 100k runs?
Well, as I may have said before, he did his first one last September. So his second was round the Isle of Wight about 2.5 weeks ago. And his third was last weekend along the Jurassic Coast. So that was from Swanage to Bridport, and he managed that. He came 44th, I think he said, which is pretty brilliant. And he has his next and last. He says it's his last one next weekend, and that is London to Brighton.
Oh my goodness!
When you think of it in those terms, you just can't. It blows your mind.
It does. So we're going to give him a Barcelo Award. Okay, can you tell him that he's had a Barcelo Award from the Good Morning Portugal show? Here it comes.
I would.
One of those for him. Acknowledgement for him.
Brilliant.
Okay.
I haven't missed that cockerel.
A warm 17 today. Look at this in Belfast. Plenty of sunblock in my case. Yes, keep it up. And bring it to Portugal, for heaven's sakes. Bom dia a todos did 12k yesterday. This is the comment you're talking about. Interrupted halfway by a leitão and wild rabbit casserole. Well, that's a very good interruption. He has personified, exemplified the whole spirit of the growing old disgracefully there. 12k with a casserole on the way. 8 today, local keep fit tonight. Fantastic. Nice one, Owen. Going to check it out today. Oh, that was the barbecue site. Fantastic. But do take it easy, mate. We're all watching you and we want you to get better. Good morning, Carl. Why can't we see the time of our comments anymore? I do miss them. I think if you could talk to YouTube about these things, they would be the people to talk to. But tech firms don't speak to anyone, do they? I can tell you that your comment, from my point of view, was made at 8:47. I'm sorry if you can't see that. It's not something I've done. I stay out of the tech mech scene, but it's lovely to have you here. I'm sorry. Maybe Suze can get you a clock at the Chinese shop. Cindy B saying, Feliz Sexta-feira, Gumpers. Morning, Cindy. Lovely to have you here. And there's your commendation to and
exactly.
Okay, looks like another hot weekend. It's arriving. The mist here on the Silver Coast is being burnt away by the sunshine. It's going to be a hot one. Looking forward to being on the beach myself later on this afternoon. It looks like another hot weekend. It's arriving. All right, we got you the first time, Nunu. Fantastic. Watching from the park where I met Pam earlier in the week. Lovely. Fantastic, Suze. Oh, let's have a photo of you watching in the park there, if that's okay. Brian, how easy is the keto here in Portugal? Good question. I have a friend who does it in Norway. I guess I should look it up. Like, well, why not just ask Brian? Or let's ask the coach. Are you a fan of the keto diet, Ian?
I haven't a clue what the keto diet is, so,
Oh,
so I can't be a fan of it.
All right, very good. Keto, as I recall, is a little bit like the Atkins from way back. So more modern iteration. But I probably shouldn't guess, and we should maybe bring. Go on.
If it's protein based, so based on reducing your carbs, increasing your sort of meat content, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the Atkins thing was completely bizarre. Well, it was just so extreme, wasn't it? Just eating meat, basically, and cutting out every bit of carbohydrate. We need carbohydrates.
Yes.
We just perhaps don't need a whole pile of them covering our plate. So, these fads and diets wind me up a bit, because even as kids at school, we were told, well, just have a bit of everything, balanced diet. Just as we know this stuff. We don't need to be told.
I love it. I love it. Atkins was interesting, wasn't it? For sure. I think that will spark some chat here. Fantastic.
Yeah, didn't he die of a heart attack?
Well, I mean, people say this. People say it's almost like a revenge, isn't it? It wasn't. Didn't the guy who invented jogging also have a similar end, or are these just urban myths?
Probably. I don't know.
We knew it was bad for you. Well wishes to. I mean, newsflash, it comes to everyone in the end, and it can't necessarily relate to the diet they introduced to the world. Well wishes from Francis as well. Lady Kimberly joining us soon from Monsanto in a couple of minutes. Thanks, Carl. Yeah, much better. Yeah, don't be tearing your thoracolumbar fascia muscle, anybody. Some great advice there. Baldylocks Tony's in. Great to chat to you last night, such as it was across Zoom, Tony. Yes, San Martino de Porto, here we come. We'll PM you later. Nice one, Paul. We'll see you later over the weekend. Fantastic. And bon dia, Suze. Are you under the weather today? I think Suze is all right at the moment. Suze, I think still recovering from that massive drive and all of the, pardon you, and all of the the psychological effort and energy of moving, because we shouldn't underestimate that either, should we? The effect of change on us, Ian, right? Because I guess with your athletes, the youngsters especially, it's good for them to have a stable life, isn't it? Would you say that stress is injurious to the training regime as well?
Oh, actually, you mentioned stress. We organised a psychologist come and talk to some of the kids last week, which was fascinating to hear, a professional pitch to both a set of really quite young kids and their parents, so 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds, and then also to the teenagers, who of course are going through exams, they're going through adolescence, so hormone changes. And one thing, he said, their age group, so from 14, 15 through even to 22, 23, are the most susceptible to stress of all that age group, because of so many changes happening. And he said, look, if you've got a couple of days where you're feeling meh, doesn't matter. But if you're like that for 3 or 4 weeks, go and talk to somebody, because that's not normal. And I thought, what great advice to a set of kids who've never been talked about that sort of stuff at all.
That's very moving.
Fascinating. So stress. I mean, some stress is good, isn't it? Because you wouldn't get anything done if you didn't stress a bit.
It's true. It's true.
But it's when, and I've always thought of stress of all sorts, working together, filling this bucket that is a limited size, and it can be physical stress, it can be mental stress, whatever the stress becomes. And once that bucket's full, then it tips over in some way, shape, or form, and that can be, illness. It can be your mental state. You come out in rashes. It affects different people in different ways. But when that bucket's full, you've got to take real care.
That's really great advice from you and that psychologist there, or whoever they were. And isn't it a shame that to hear that age group, where you would hope that they would be having the time of their lives, are the most susceptible to stress? It'd be lovely, wouldn't it, if our world could evolve back or forward, whichever way you see that. That such that teenagers, despite what's going on for them, and it is a difficult time of your life in some ways, but wouldn't it be lovely if that was balanced with it being the most incredible, carefree, and fun part of your life as well? That teenage spirit. So yeah, bless them. Oh, I'm very moved to hear that actually. Apparently, the rally of Portugal is going through Arganil today. There's a little bit of a clue to the gad about who is Louise. Arganil, beautiful. Arganil and Goish, what fantastic parts of Portugal they are. So I'm guessing you're over there in Central, Louise. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, and to Raj as well. I'm a couple of minutes late going over to Monsanto now. I need to change this banner, because not only do we have Coach Turner coming through with us this morning on Fitness Feel Good Friday, we've got Lady Kimberly with us. Oh, listen to that bird song already. That's good morning to you, Kimberly.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, the birds have been going since about 4 o'clock this morning.
So Brian's had his dog licking his face since 4 this morning. I think generally speaking, there's all sorts of challenges for people right now. And you've had birds keeping you awake since 4, is that right?
Well, they don't keep me awake, but nature is not quiet. We've got crickets all night long. I think they only stop for about an hour.
Right.
And then you've got, distant dogs barking from time to time, including our own at times. And then you've got the birds, and they I mean, it's wonderful. It's brilliant. It's fantastic, but it isn't quiet.
You make a very good point. You make a very good point, don't you? I mean, people imagine, don't they? I'll move to the Portuguese countryside for a peaceful, idyllic life of bucolic splendor. And then next thing they know, there's birds that won't shut up, cockerels, people shooting guns, church bells, cicadas at night. It's madness here. I'm going to move. I'm going to get some peace and quiet in Lisbon. So there you are in what I think is described as the most Portuguese of Portuguese villages, or nearby anyway, to Monsanto.
Yes.
Would you mind recapping for us before we go on to your? You of course are the yin of compared to the filthy yang of Kuwudu. We'll talk about that and fitness of mind. But tell us about your Portugal story first, if you will, and where you are, and why you chose to be there and what you love about it.
Okay, so, well, in January 2020, we decided all our children had left home. So we thought, right, this is the time for us to do something. So we bought a camper van and we decided to go traveling. So we got rid of our house, got rid of all our possessions and set off. And 6 weeks later, we got as far as Lincoln in England, and lockdown came in. So we had to stay put for quite a while. And so we were then, over the next 18 months, really, we were locked down 3 times in England, and in between times, in between the second and third one, we thought, this may not finish these lockdowns. It might be a feature of life going forward. When the first one happened, I think, my thought was, oh, this will be over in 2 or 3 weeks and we'll be off on our travels again. But it clearly wasn't going to be the case. So we thought, what can we do? Because if we keep going into lockdown, we're going to have somewhere to stay put. So we thought we'd buy some land, and we went and had a look around at various places around England. And it was either too expensive, too wet, too dull, or too crowded, or too expensive. And so then we started looking into Europe, and we eventually came across Portugal and just started looking up things, and thought, and neither of us had ever been to Portugal before, but it just sounded really good. And then Phil found your show, started listening to it, and came back each morning after his walk, having listened to an hour of it, and said, it sounds fantastic in Portugal. So we started researching it. And then we came out here last August, so August 21. And we had about 20 pieces of land that we were going to be looking at, that we'd seen on Idea Lister and various places like that. And on the third day, we met with an estate agent in Castelo Branco, and we saw this piece of land. And the minute we walked onto it, we went, this is it. We don't need to look anywhere else. We just knew this was the place. So we bought it, and then we've been coming backwards and forwards since then to start work on it.
Oh, that's superb. What a lovely story. And it's that the orange tree that we hear of? No, maybe not. Maybe is that
no, that's a cork oak. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Coach Turner, meet Lady K. Lady K, meet Coach Turner.
Nice to meet you.
Do you
Thank
know
you.
this part of Portugal, Ian? Have you been over to Monsanto? Or is
No,
that
not
still...
at all.
Oh.
That's the one part. Really, well, I haven't been to much to the north apart from Porto, or central. I suppose. Yeah, reopening of Mayor doesn't quite count, does it?
No, not really, but nice enough. But it doesn't really
It's
count.
getting closer. So,
Actually, while you mentioned Rio Mayor, it is a great little town, but it is the athletics capital. That's why you popped over there, isn't it? I think it is the athletics epicenter of Portugal.
they do well, not just athletics. I think it's their Olympic training centre.
Okay.
I just went over to have a look because I do stupid things like that. It's my bag, I guess.
Yes.
So I wanted to see what the facilities were like, and they have a fantastic track and stadium, swimming pools, tennis courts, pad tennis, all sorts.
Yeah, that's the way they roll here.
Yeah, it's a great sort of set of facilities, and surrounded by schools and colleges. So
Yes,
you can see how that will work.
Superb. So we're all about the feel good today, Feel Good Friday. Some of us not feeling so good, and we're sending love to Phil, of course. How's Phil this morning?
He's still pretty, I've read the phrase, under the weather,
Yes.
feeling a bit rough.
Oh,
So yes, he's laying down in a bed of sickness at the moment.
yeah, which has to be done from time to time, as we were saying.
Yeah.
Is he a good patient, or is he good to look after? No.
Um, I actually qualified as a nurse in my first career was a nurse. And he said to me the other day, he said, I know you don't really like being a nurse, like caring for people. I thought, how insulting.
How rude.
No, I know. I think I've been quite helpful looking after him, but he's okay. But
Yes.
you know, he likes to sort of milk it for what it's worth because he doesn't get ill hardly ever.
It's great. You see another side of people's characters, don't you, when they're unguarded like that. That's right. Well, do send him our love.
I will.
You are, of course, are a nurse of the soul, if I may say so, as well.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, the work you've got into with Phil, with Kuwudu. We're talking about Feel Good Friday Fitness here, and we like to take a gentle and holistic approach, and of course, mental health. And let's go into that territory of spiritual health. I think is part of what you. That's how I see it anyway. With what you and Phil do, how would you describe it? The work you're doing with Kuwudu and what you're sharing with the world from that point of view.
I think it's really understanding the power of the mind and understanding that we create our own lives and our own reality. So that the life that you're living now is what you have created for yourself. And sometimes that's great. We're living in Portugal and we've got beautiful scenery. You think, oh, aren't we good? That's great. Sometimes it's quite a reality check to think, actually, if we're unhappy in our lives, we have allowed that to happen and not done something about it. But actually not letting that be depressing to you, to think, we can do something about it and we can create our own reality. And most of us go through life sort of just stumbling through it. I'm sure I'm not talking to people like that here on Good Morning Portugal, because those people who have made the move have already kind of followed the dream. So I think it's about understanding, if life is not making you happy, there is something you can do about it. And it all starts with changing the way that you think and then following that up with some actions as well. So it's teaching people the power that they have over their own lives to create their own happiness.
Yes, yeah. And you of course, have demonstrated that, I think. And yeah, you make a very good point there, which we were talking about earlier on. It's one thing to have insight about these sorts of things, isn't it? But it is another thing to take action, and that's down to us, isn't it, to actually put one foot in front of the other, metaphorically or actually. Do you want to say something about that, Ian? And we'll come back to you on that as well, Kimberly, about how to put these insights into action. What's your view on that?
I totally agree with everything that Kimberly said. The one thing that I've found over the years that's held me back is actually worrying about other people. So, because when you go off and do your own thing, you kind of feel a bit selfish, don't you? And I don't like feeling selfish because it's not who I am. So worrying about other people, trying to make sure you put everything in place that you think you should, particularly family and loved ones. And so balancing your feel about their needs with your own. So that's the only thing I'd say, I think.
That's a great perspective. Yeah.
Yeah,
And interestingly, though, you can only the technology, I suppose, if we can call it that, Kimberly, that you're talking about, you can only do it for yourself, can't you? That's one of the
Yeah.
almost like a poignant thing about human beings and what you're talking about there is in many ways, the life you can take responsibility for. Although we do care for our loved ones and have their best interests at heart, the most powerful place to put things into action of this kind is for yourself, because you can only really do it for yourself and you can't do it for others. I mean, any parent would know that, won't they? They kind of look at their kids and they know what could help, but only the child can actually enact that for themselves. And it's the same for our friends and colleagues and everyone else, isn't it? So I think that is quite a poetic sort of irony there, a challenge. What would you say about that?
I think you're absolutely right, Ian. That's the biggest challenge we had in considering this move to Portugal. Is what about family? Because our children one was at university and the rest had sort of just left university age. And parents are getting older as well. Phil's parents had passed away, but what are we being selfish by doing this? But I think what you have to realize is that I think it's important to show people that they also can create their own lives and follow their dreams. And in the same way that if one of my daughters said, "I'd like to go to Australia and work for you," I'd say, "Fantastic, go." I want them to follow their dreams, and if you don't follow your dreams, then they won't necessarily follow theirs. So I think that's one of the things, and I think it's also just letting them know, thinking through the practical issues. So, we've always said to our children, look, we'll always be there for you. We're always on the end of the phone. So we make sure that if the phone rings and it's one of them, whatever we're doing, we stop and take the call, so they know they can always get hold of us. So that although we're in another country at the moment, we're not, we're on hand. It's it's fantastic with FaceTime and everything. You feel like you're in the next room. And sometimes it's not so practical. Like my daughter has had to just replace her car. She was in an accident. She wasn't hurt or anything, but the car's a write-off, and she's got to get a new car. Now, if we were there, we'd probably meet up and sort it out, and we can't do that now. But you have to look at other ways that you can do it, but just to let them know that you are still there for them. But equally, your life, you've got to live your own life too.
Wow, this is very interesting, and it's especially poignant, isn't it? We're Expats Portugal, and we are talking about a real issue, and not one necessarily that is, you see all these great. We're talking specifically about Portugal, but this general expat experience of go live somewhere warmer, go live somewhere where your money will go a bit further, go live somewhere friendly and sunny. Go live and move away from your family. You don't usually have that at the end, do you? But that's the reality of it. If you are,
it can be a bonus sometimes.
Well, that is possible, isn't it? But it is almost like the dark side, the shadow side, often, isn't it? People don't want to talk about it. And it's understandable. It's like it's not the going, it's the leaving that hurts. It's the moment when you realise, isn't it? Is that okay? This is changing. There is a distance between us, and I like how you're handling that. How you're talking about that. Could we talk a little bit more about Kubudu as well? Because it's a fascinating name for a project, for an enterprise. If people go to the 50+ Vitality group, they'll get a sense of what we were doing in our project about a month ago now. And the coach, your work is there. I know you as well, Lady K, along with Phil, run a courses, support other people. What is it you're sharing with people, and is it to do the things you've just said? Is it to help to realize their dreams? What is Kubudu about?
Yeah, it is about helping people realize their dreams, or creating a life that makes them happy. I think what I've learned is it doesn't have to be about winning the lottery or going on a trip around the world or having a fast car, or that for some people their dream is just to be happy where they are, and that might be in Wolverhampton in the middle of England on a cold rainy day. Wherever, it doesn't matter.
Is to believe, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But whatever it is, it's about what makes you happy. And so helping
Yeah.
people to create that and look at what elements of their life. So when we do our dream board, it's not full of, we want to go here and there and get this and get that. There are some of those things on there, but it's also full about how do we want to feel about life. So we want to have friends and family that, we have good relationships with. We want to feel fulfilled in what we do. We want to feel like there's a sense of purpose. We want to feel like, that we wake up every day and feel we can't wait to get on with life. And those things, you can have those feelings wherever you are in the world, but you've got to make sure that, it's what you want from your life and what will make you happy. So I think the courses and the coaching that we do is really about helping people to look at, if there are things making them unhappy, what can they do to change that? Or it
Oh,
might
I
be
love.
to create a particular dream, like I want to move to Portugal. How do I go about it?
Yeah, fair enough. But you make such a good point. Then I'm sure Ian will have something to say about this. It needn't necessarily. I mean, it sounds very 80s, doesn't it? The kind of loads of money thing. The thing that's going to make me happy is X, Y, and Z. And you make such a good point about how. And Louise, if I could only get to it, because Microsoft have plopped something on my screen now, like they do. Oh no! Sometimes, says Louise, it can be the really simple, basic things that make you so very happy, and that's often after people have tried all the other things that they thought would make them happy, right? But that's such an important thing you're saying there. Is a damp Wolverhampton life. It could be exactly what somebody wants, but what they're looking for is the adjustment of like, actually, this is what I want, and I can be happy with this, and just I suppose learning in a sense how to do that. And wouldn't the world be an amazing place if people could
Mm,
adjust to being happy where they were rather than
mm,
turning all the world upside down trying to find happiness?
yeah, absolutely.
Ian, do you want to add something to that?
I was just contemplating the old adage that having loads of money doesn't make you happy. Not having enough makes you very unhappy.
True,
Mm,
that's true.
So,
Yes,
the old Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You need to get that stuff in place, and
yes,
probably one or two more in this modern sort of society.
yes,
And there's so many people. The UK is just in a horrible place right now.
yeah,
So there's lots of people that this discussion wouldn't mean anything to, because they just can't survive each day. So
yeah.
you have to just put that realism into what we're talking about. But
But
if
that's
you're
interesting.
above that, then
Yes,
you have the ability to get by and feed yourself properly and be sheltered.
yes.
Then you can make a good life for yourself wherever you are.
I'm
So
going to be a bit controversial here, Ian, because I think you're right, and that we could be accused, couldn't we, of being a bit privileged, and it's easier for us, which it is. Let's face it. We
yeah,
can acknowledge.
we got first world problems.
Yeah, it's true, and you could also say, couldn't you, that the political model or the economic model isn't and hasn't worked very well. And maybe it is time for balance and holism to be in how we teach kids and how we structure society. Because only dealing with it as an economic and political problem isn't getting the best results, without a doubt. And
Yeah,
it creates the very thing you're talking about, doesn't it? The fact that people can't attend to the higher levels of the hierarchy of needs because they're understandably obsessed with just making ends meet. And I don't think anyone would be uh, not acknowledging that. I know this community well enough to know that we're interested at every level of any human happiness and human suffering alike, and what we can do about it. But you could argue, couldn't you, that the lack of that understanding, consciousness, technology of how we might shape our lives is almost, you could argue that it's being kept from people, not just not taught, but it's actually actively being kept from people, and how powerful it could be in the world.
I think it's not a surprise that countries like Finland, for instance, are some of the happiest in the world because of I guess their sort of more social democratic approaches, supporting people, making sure that everybody has good education, good health,
Mm.
You know, it's those basic things, and if we can't do that for those less fortunate than us, what are we about?
Fascinating. Yes,
I just,
absolutely.
but we
Yeah.
could spend years talking about this, couldn't we?
And we will, unless we get it
And we
sorted
will.
out. We will have to spend years talking about. Kimberly, I think you probably wanted to add something there.
I was just going to say, I understand what you're saying, Ian, and Maslow's hierarchy of needs, getting that sort of safety and security in place first. And I think, I think back to a time probably about 6 or 7 years ago when, Phil and I are both divorced, so coming into a second relationship together with families to support on either side. And, money was so tight that we couldn't even afford to go out for a cup of coffee ourselves. And it was, I know, going to bed with that sick feeling inside and thinking, please don't let the washing machine break down, because I don't know what I'd do. I couldn't afford it, and what happens if I lose my house, and that sort of horrible feeling. And it was around that time that I had learnt about thoughts become things and creative visualization. In it, I know it is really hard to put it into place when you feel like you don't know how you can afford things. But if you do take that action, start to put it into place, a mindset shift happens, and then things start to come into your life that you didn't expect them to happen. And you obviously start to take action. So we thought, well, how can we get through this, and how can we make more money? And that involved at one point Phil working 3 jobs at 80 hours a week for a time to get through that. But it helps you to look creatively at your situation, to see what can I do about this to move myself forward, and what can I attract to me.
Yes.
So I think it's a balance between the two. I think you were saying, Carl, we need to teach children this mindset work, because that, combined with everything else, would make the difference.
Yeah, and I suppose it's a bit like the great a commercial hero of the time in terms of wealth and lifestyle might be let's not take it too seriously, but Elon Musk. The kids might look towards Elon Musk. Do we teach them that becoming as rich as him is going to make you happy, or do we teach them the mindset that he used to get there? It would look more sustainable, wouldn't it, and fruitful that we teach kids how to get there rather than just to try and copy the end game of these folks, which tends to happen, doesn't it, with the kind of Dragon's Den culture the Office, not the Office, those sorts of TV shows. Is that Joe? It is really chaotic where you are. It's so noisy in the Portuguese countryside.
We've got strumming going on the next piece of land,
please.
and Joey's just noticed somebody walking by, so he's decided to have a bark at them.
Morning, Joey. Morning, Joey. Oh, I'm loving the conversation this morning. Let's see what other people are chipping in. Too right, Lady K. Life is far too short not to live your best life. Really appreciating your how you're managing that, Kimberly, this morning, telling us with the connection with family. Really important thing for expats, I think, and people who move away from their families. And yeah, as Louise said there, sometimes it can be the really simple, basic things that make you so very happy. Not just happy, but so very happy. Just do it, says Victoria. Hola, bon dia, kids. Yes, create your best life. Great videos, Louise. Says Chris, your unique channel is providing a service which is invaluable. You cover a lot of towns and villages that not many other channels do. Fantastic. Life challenges can and often do make it more difficult to choose to be happy, of course. And that's where we come in as a community for each other, right? I don't think this can be done alone, can it? In your experience, Ian, training as a top athlete requires a team, a village. It takes a village to raise a child.
It probably does, yes.
Yes.
It was just I was just pondering what Kimberly was saying about just addressing the issues if you are really struggling. And the problem for people like that is that they don't have the support. They don't have the mental wherewithal to be able to address it like you guys did. I've been through the divorce and second marriage. Luckily, I chose well the second time round, and we made a good life of it. But we struggled early on in exactly the same way. So it's just teach. Yeah, you're right. We should teach kids the ability to change their mindsets, because it's so easy to get into that trough, isn't it? Where you
He's got stuck in a trough, possibly there, frozen up, I think.
working
Oh,
out
okay,
the hours a week. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, I think helping people find their way out is a fantastic thing to do.
Yeah, and the same with you, Kimberly.
Whether you can relate.
Sorry, Ian. We're getting a little bit of
over
each other,
sorry.
a lag.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say whether you can relate that to athletes. I guess you can. It's very easy for athletes to get into a rut where they do the same thing every day, training wise, and surprise, they get the same result. So
Yes.
finding a way to improve and change what you do. I guess that's why quite a lot of athletes change coaches fairly regularly.
Okay. Well,
put me out of work.
The loneliness of the long distance runner comes to mind, and the same point to you there, Kimberly. The power of community, because dream boards, dream building, changing the way you think, best done in a community, I would have thought. And I know you and Phil have talked about this wonderful community you belong to. Would you encourage people, if they are just looking inward and just feeling very alone, to open up to be part of a bigger community where people are thinking in the same way as well?
I think it's really helpful because one of the difficulties is people don't want you to change because it shines a light on them having to change. So I'm sure many people have found this is when you say, oh, we're going to move to Portugal, you get the naysayers going, are you sure that's a good thing? Well, what about the healthcare? What if something goes wrong? What about your kids? What you can do about schooling and all this? And people, they're all well-meaning and they do it out of love. But there is an element of, if you can do that, then it shines a light and they could do something as well. And so people try and hold you back for the best of reasons. And so having a community of people who are saying, yeah, no, just go for it, and encouraging you and cheering you on. It's the difference between, I'm sure, Ian, you've experienced, the difference between playing, playing football with a crowd watching you and cheering you on, or playing in an empty stadium. It's makes a big difference to having people around you that support you and share that mindset.
Well said. Yeah, I like the way you've put that. Ian,
Yeah,
have you your footballing career, or even as an athletics? I mean, as a veteran athlete, you'll have felt the warmth of the crowd urging you towards the finish line, I suspect.
I've certainly competed, not in front of big crowds at all, because you don't get them at the level that I run at, but certainly in front of friends and family and people and yeah, I guess it does change. Just change your mental attitude. Interestingly, I actually talk to people who sort of watch me regularly will know I've coached Dwayne Chambers in recent years, and he was talking to me the other day about when he competed at 2012, because he had a really tough few years to try and actually be able to compete because of his drugs issue he'd had some 10 years earlier. So the British Olympic Committee wouldn't allow him to run. But he took them to court, and over about a 4 or 5 year process, he finally got to be allowed to compete. And he said, just walking out into the stadium and the roar of the crowd, he said, was just the most amazing time of his life. So it didn't make him run much quicker, I have to say, but because he was old and maxed out by then. So but he's he just said it just took his brain to a completely different level. And
fantastic.
So it does make a difference. Just incidentally, while we're talking just a second about Dwayne, he was we had the UK athletics guys down testing the other day. He was fastest of all the athletes over 30 meters, so he's still got something.
He's still got it. I mean, we can make the most amazing. we could make an amazing comedy sketch about this motivation and being supported by a community and a crowd. When you're running around an athletics track, people aren't shouting out, "Slow down, you might pull a hamstring." They're shouting out, "Come on, you can do this," aren't they? Have you thought about the long-term health consequences of running so far? People don't do that, do they? And it's exactly what Kimberly is saying. It's so important to be with people who support you. And I guess the naysayers and stress, like you said before, have their place, but it's about balance again, isn't it? So let's go back to our lovely community here and see what their support is. We had that comment before, which is great, though, and that's an acknowledgement of how difficult it is when you are down in the dumps, but hopefully with the power of a community and some twist of fate, you find your way going back up. Did you find that Finland, to Suze, who's come from Finland, referring to your comment earlier, Ian, was it the happiest country in the world? I have to admit, the most miserable man I ever met was a specialist in Finnish history. Oh, Finns are the happiest country 5 years in a row. I never caught on while there. Happy in Portugal, yay. Yes, different strokes for different folks, I suppose. The Finns, maybe it's
that's it.
Their stoic nature. Okay, but that's a mental technology again, isn't it? It's how they see life. Exactly what we're talking about here. So a couple more minutes then, if I may keep you, with a final bit of input here, because we've been talking about insight, and there's been a lot of insight this morning. It's been fantastic talking to you and about what you do. It's all about the action as well, and we'll see you both. I hope, Lady Kimberly, you will come back with Phil when he's recovered next month.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Be with him on that, and you as well, Ian, on this Feel Good Friday slot. But what can we get people doing between now and then? If you could go first, Ian, we'll probably we'll come back to you a second, Lady K, and which I imagine might be something to do with dream boards, perhaps, with a dream board homework. But what about you, Ian? What would you suggest to people between now and the next time we see you, so people can embed what we're talking about and take action on this?
Oh, blimey. You do pitch them, don't you?
I do. Right on the spot
I
here.
think just get out. A bit of walking every day is just fantastic. Walking is the best exercise for all of us as we get older. So just get out. It could be walking down to the coffee shop. That's enough.
Yep.
Walk there, walk back. Try and do half an hour a day, and that's about your minimum. You need to be able to do half an hour of some sort of activity, physical activity every day. And that will maintain your health.
Yep, a little and often, and grow it steadily. How about that, folks? Getting if you're in any way concerned about your aging and your vitality, how about getting into a walking habit every day? Because we will be asking, won't we, Coach Turner, next time? Did you do it?
Yeah,
we'll be looking for a bit of accountability. We'll be examining your hamstrings virtually just to see that they've been stretched a little bit, but not too far. Your homework between now and the next time we see you in about a month's time, Lady K.
I think what I'd suggest is that get a piece of paper and think about all the things that make you feel happy. So, you might want to think back to a day when you thought, oh, that was such a great day. And what were the elements of that made you feel happy? So whether it was spending time with friends and family, or whether it was going for a walk, or having done some exercise and feeling good, or whatever it is, think about all the things that make you happy. And then also any dreams and goals that you've got, put them down on paper. And then think about just some actions, some simple actions. Just think of 3 for each one of those that you could take, and don't stress about, is this the right thing to do? Or, what would be the best thing to do? Just do something. Doing something is better than doing nothing. So think of 3, what we call baby steps towards that particular goal. So when we were looking at coming to Portugal, never having been, and we were in lockdown and couldn't go anywhere, we thought, okay, well, we can do some Google searches online. We can find some places, look at some land online, anything, start reading some books about it. So any little baby steps that you can take that will move you towards the direction of your goal, keep doing those, and then see the difference that makes in a month's time.
Oh, thank you so much, you two. Do you want to stick around just a little bit longer to hear the great feedback you're getting? I walk the dog twice a day. Me too. The dogs are my fitness savior for sure. And in beautiful woodland, and these trees are definitely giving off something. I feel great. Bit of forest bathing, 2 dog walks a day. So that's one method.
Yeah.
quite an interesting way of looking at that. And of course, it's a big responsibility, but a wonderful benefit to have dogs if you can incorporate that in your lifestyle. That made it easier to choose to be happy. I think we need the first bit of that somewhere further up the comment chain. But Frankenfurter, don't dream it, be it. Or I suppose if you can dream it, then go ahead and be it. As Kimberly's has shared with us there. I think Joao F also hasn't been feeling very well. Heavy flu attacked the whole family. So it's been quite amazing to see that so many people have been under the weather, but so much love for you all from this community. Morning, people. It's true. Sometimes people don't realize the beauty of the place they live. When I open my windows every morning, I just say, wow, I'm in heaven. Up there in Scotland. Fantastic, Abel. Thank you for that. Just imagine
It's beautiful.
The positive EMFs of thousands of people being projected in your direction. Go on then. Let's have a moment of that. Ooh, yes, that does feel nice. Thank you very much. In my life, there's been heartache and pain. I don't know if I can face it again. Can't stop now. I've traveled so far to change in this lonely life. Listen to the lyrics. Apply them to your situation. Is that Michael McDonald? Who was that who sang that? Monsanto, for you, this Lady Kay, the most Portuguese village in Portugal. How about that? And what could be better than going around a beautiful country, experiencing different places? I'm enjoying the now and not aiming for anything. Wow, that's a great sentiment, is it not? Superb. Yeah. And final one for you then. Love to Phil. Bon dia all from an overcast Coleraine in Northern Ireland from William. Lady Kay, give my best to Phil. He's inspiration. We met you at Phil and Eric's on our trip to Central Portugal. All the best on your project. So somebody who recognizes you there. Thank you so much for being here this morning. I'm going to hang out a little bit longer and go back to some of the earlier comments and probably a dad joke or two. But Kimberly, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Come back in a month's time. Superb. Thank you very much, Ian, as well.
Bye, Kimberly.
Ciao, ciao.
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 All right. Bye for now. Thank you very much to both of you. Oh, do excuse me. I need to play a little vid so I can have a bit of a cough behind the scenes here. What have I got for you? Oh, fitness. Here we go. And look at that. I'm sorry. My eyes. GMP is my happy place. Good on you, Suze. Thank you for that. And yeah, to start my day. Oh no, hold on a minute. That's the wrong comment. To start my day in Canada, we'll join the West Coasters watching in the wee hours. We look forward to your company wherever you end up in the world, Suze. I think the baby steps is key. It wasn't that great this morning with Kimberly and with Ian. In the past, I'd be too fixed on the end goal and then wonder why I'm stressed at not getting there. Isn't that lovely? Has Portugal done that to you in part, Louise? Hoops. What's this? I think I just brought up a bit of my... oh, oops, that is. All right. Oh, it's Foreigner, isn't it? I don't know if I can take it again in this lonely life. Something for your ears and your eyes this morning, Pete. My vocabulary is so limited and I just want to speak Portuguese, so I make so many mistakes. Well, that's the way to do it. Baby steps into Portuguese as well. And, you know, learning the language, I think that's great for mental fitness too. So with so many angles we can choose, put something into practice, folks. Get some support at 50 Plus Vitality Community group on Facebook if you want the ongoing support. I'm going to switch back to the earlier comments. Pam had to go out. That was the last one I was at. Oh, I'm a terrible nurse. Belated birthday best to you, Penny. How about some birthday love for Penny, whose birthday it was yesterday over there in Devon. And we've been talking, and a little chat with Gary and Linda and Owen about the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club. I think when we start it again, it will be the Expats Portugal Wine Club. And we're gonna be back with you in the autumn, and I'm hoping, Penny, you'll join us again. Some of you, of course, will know Penny from the Wine Club. Bon dia, alegria all. Hope you had a lovely day yesterday. Okay, we're scrolling way back. Antonio F is here this morning. Don't want to miss things. Oh, there is a dust storm coming as part of the hot weather morning, Rebecca. How are you this morning? Great webinar last night, by the way. That'll be up online soon, talking to Spartan FX, who I know a lot of you love. for your currency transfers. Fantastic session with the Premium Plus group as well. Lovely progress. People moving to Portugal. We give you some handheld help and a weekly meet on Zoom at 9 o'clock on a Thursday. Join the Premium Plus group or level of membership if you would find that useful. Have to work this morning. Just wanted, excuse me, to say my breakfast TP. Just wanted to say bon fin de semana. Thanks, Pam. If you do see this on the catch up, you'll get that right back at you. Igualmente. Yes. Oh, is this exercise and electric bikes? Yes, it's all to do with how much one chooses to pedal. Mostly for me, it's to help me get up the steep grades home from the villa and beach. Okay, so yeah, you can get exercise from an electric bike, it would appear, unless you cheat and just have the electric on all the time. I miss Mexican food. I think it's a bit of keto talk, isn't it? The only thing I miss from the US is Mexican food. That's interesting, isn't it? It's like a Brit say the only thing I miss from UK is a curry. When I go in August, September, I'm going to eat it every day. That might cure things long term, mightn't it, Rebel Mummy? If you binge and gorge, you might not miss it in the future. And I think he might speak Arabic. Is that your purveyor of Mexican food? That's an interesting combo. Pain is the body saying, hey, stop it. Yes. And do we listen? Do we echoes like? Gina, morning. Bon dia. I'll be moving north to Aveiro today. Oh, you decided to head north. This is my last week in Portugal. It's been a beautiful adventure. Nice to meet everyone at the meetup. And James and Ellie said, a wonderful time. So glad to hear that, Gina. It was lovely to meet you. Korean food is at the top of my list, but I found 2 great places in Porto. It's just that it's $30 to $50 a time. Special occasion then, perhaps. When we're ill, says Guru Slug, the symptoms and fatigue they bring are telling us to rest, sleep, as tremendous healing occurs when we do that. It's true. Any naturopath will tell you that. And when kids have childhood illnesses, I think it's part of their immunity building and their strength and growth. And it's not a good thing to be ill, but in a way it is too, as that popular saying. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. There is some truth in that, isn't there? As there is in all cliches. Wow, that's a lot. I have friends in Porto that are Asian food obsessed. I will ask if they know other places. Thanks for that. If we could do that for Rebecca, that would be great. Coach, does washing the car count as gentle exercise? Definitely. First job for today. Nice job. Well done, Jack. Polly, good morning to you. The Peach Boys, don't make me wait not another evening. Nice one, Chris. Enjoyed that. And thank you for coming to my aid, you funkers, yesterday. It was a tune. You know when you get a tune that you hear and you think, oh, who recorded the original? It was Clive who came immediately to my aid with that. Thanks, Clive. No, not that I have found. You can get wheat tortillas in the markets, but I don't eat those, only corn, and they're not here. I am too lazy to make them. Like button, says Rebel Mama to you as well. Can your son not afford a car? Oh, is that a 100K runner? Very good. You must be glad that Met's investigation into Partygate is over. Only 164 fines for 2 addresses. 10 and 11 down. It's outrageous, isn't it? Unbelievable. Let's not go there. Let's not spoil our weekend. Okay, you need to qualify for that. Did I miss a... Oh, Sharon H., good morning to you. There is a Mexican restaurant in Lisbon called Veracruz. It is actually near Gilda's office. Pretty good. There you go. If visiting Gilda, take her out for lunch to the Mexican Veracruz there. Very good. Thank you for that. Sorry, nearly missed you there, Sharon. Good. You need to qualify that. Where did you used to eat Mexican food before? Mexican food snob, Rebel Mama. I guess if it's all you can get, it's good enough. Very few Mexican restaurants in Portugal. Can you really be that critical? Exactly. The food at Veracruz is fresh. The dust storm is coming, I tell ye. Thank you, Rebecca, for that. Okay, so I'll put a keto link in if anyone wants to find out more about that. I'm going to TJ soon. Is that Tijuana? I'll have a few street tacos and an orange Fanta for you. Orange Fanta, is that traditional Mexican there, Tony? Maybe it's something different in Mexico. I suspect it is. Dad joke alert. I'm on the seafood diet. I see food, I eat it. The oldies are the oldest, for sure, aren't they? Last time we were in Ensenada, we ate thousands of fish tacos. It's interesting. Sardine time is coming to Portugal. Fish tacos there for Rebel Mama. Okay, to Pete, as you saw on Friday last week, I've got to get out of this place. I gotta get out of this place. Things are not going to get better. People are still phoning Nick on LBC and defending the shambles. Yeah. He's one of them, though, isn't he? Nick Ferrari, honestly. What's he like? On a literal level, we're always under the weather. I wonder why that means not feeling well. Yes, interesting. Keto is high fat, more than high protein. Oh, okay. Thanks for that, Brian. But low carb, ideally under 20 grams carb per day, and works well with intermittent fasting. Very good. Not much talk about intermittent farting this morning, which is probably the best kind, isn't it? And trapped wind. Keep it trapped, as far as I'm concerned. It's the stuff that's not trapped that you need to be worried about. What do you recommend for strength training if you don't have access to weights? Could I use body weight or straps? You can. I know this. Mrs. M says her dad in the 70s, I think, did a body weight, working against himself, if you like, in his body weight. Turned out real buff one of the summers. Probably was a summer of 76. So you can. Straps and body weight. Who doesn't like a bit of strapping and body weight first thing in the morning? Keto. Sorry, I missed that earlier on to ask the coach, but you know where he is, or send us a message and I'll pass that on, Louise. Keto is high fat. Okay, thank you very much for that, for the description there. Brian, bon dia from Antonio F, who's in this morning as well. Brilliant. Yes, as far as your question goes, James, Guru Slug, it must be a British term, as the weather is always terrible back in Plague Island. Being under the weather, there's your explanation. You can also do a vegan veggie keto using healthy fats, so it doesn't have to be all ribeye steaks, which will come as a relief to some people there. There's a hello, Kimberly, from Louise as well there, if I missed that earlier on. Wildlife is not quiet. Lol. True that. And people pay for those background white noise soundtracks. They do. It's lovely to hear the sound behind Kimberly this morning. There are also versions that work well for training, where you limit the blast of carbs before a training session. Yeah, I'm always reminded, talking about carbs, what's the difference between a bowl of pasta and a bowl of sugar? About half an hour. Kimberly, if you can still hear us, gutted about poor Phil. If there's anything we can do to help, don't hesitate to ask, because we aren't too far away. Looking forward to seeing you next week. So, Pete, happy to help there. Phil and Kimberly, and it's a bon dia. Back to Penny there. Where are the Portuguese gumpers today? Antonio Isual, the prof. Yeah, we're missing the prof, aren't we? Do we play the tune anyway? No, I don't think we should do that without his input. And who said, man cannot, yes, human perhaps, cannot stand too much reality? You can't stand the truth. Too right, Lady K. Yeah, it was great. So great to have Lady K standing in for Phil this morning. And I hope they'll be back together next month. And of course, all the best to Phil. And brilliant to have the coach here as well. Find out more 50 Plus Vitality over there on Facebook. Let's just go to the end of your comments now, because it's 3 minutes past 10. Folks, fab show today. Great weekend to everyone. Thank you. This was a great show, Louise. I'm glad I could make it today. Good timing. Great coincidence there. Gina! Bon fin semana, todos. Enjoy. Ciao, ciao from Portimao. Blimey, Carl. That body was dazzling. Thank you very much. So does Hadaway. Oh, yeah. What is love? Happy birthday, Penny, from Victoria. Okay, yeah, that was the Foreigner song, wasn't it? Our theme tune. All us foreigners here. The one that the greatest resistance offered to decomposition and extraneous influences, and the state of conservation in the highest degree of purity. That's from the Estado Novo propaganda or literature, launched a contest. Oh, okay. Sorry. There are a few things connected up here that I'm not connecting up very well. I hope you've done a better job than me. But interesting to know that in 1938, Estado Novo, the dictatorship, launched a contest to determine which was the most Portuguese village in Portugal. And it was Monsanto. Heavy rock Monsanto. Bon fin semana. Ciao, ciao from Portimao, from Victoria. Dad! Is what Guru Slug James is shouting out. Fab show today. Yeah, great weekend to everyone. Sorry, I'm repeating myself now, but I love those positive comments, so I'll do it anyway. Louise, keep enjoying it. If you fancy a dip, you are welcome here anytime. Fantastic. If you want your children to listen, try talking softly to someone else. Brilliant. And Landers. Keto does not have to be high fat and can include a lot of high fiber veg. If you're losing weight, lower fat is best. There can be a healthy balance. Oh my goodness, we're opening up the best good fats debate, aren't we? Lower fat, is it really though? There are some good fats about. Nubianet, always good to have you here, Nubianet. How you doing? There's a place in Elisera called California Tacos. I've never seen it open, so I haven't tried it yet. Maybe they have a truck somewhere. Okay. At every party, there are two kinds of people. Another Ann Landers comment. Who is Ann Landers? We like her. Those who want to go home and those who don't. Trouble is, they are usually married to each other. Way! We've all been there. Slug, there's now gumbo tacos. Banana Slug. Hola, just woke up. How you doing? Talk quietly. She's just woken up, everybody. Fantastic show, Carl. Sorry, just a bit early for full body shots. I do pardon me. Thanks for all my lovely birthday wishes from this fabulous community. Of course, Penny. Don't you worry about your Portuguese mistakes. You've just started, therefore it's only natural. Someday I'm going to demystify the notion that Portuguese is too difficult to learn. Yes, you're already doing that, Joao F. And keep it up, Moaz. Don't let that put you off, my friend. Consistent with my food approach while in Portugal, I'll try anything once, provocative, and it sounds like it could be delicious. I think that's your lifestyle generally. You'll try anything once that might be delicious and or provocative. Preferably in that order. Okay, thanks everyone. Bon fin de semana. Have a great weekend. Be careful out there this weekend. It's going to be a hot one in Portugal. Make sure you stay hydrated, and it could get very hot. So be careful with all that the great heat brings to Portugal. We will see you on Monday for Migration Monday, and of course Jordan will be here, and along with Guru Slug's message from the Redwoods. So have a good one, and we'll see you then. Smash that like button. Ciao, ciao for now.